On behalf of the judiciary, I am grateful for the opportunity as Chief Justice to provide an update to all citizens and residents of the Eastern Caribbean on the coping mechanisms undertaken by the judiciary during the COVID-19 pandemic. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Jurist Project for its continuous support of the work of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. This virus came at us swiftly, wreaking havoc in our region in ways which are still being measured in financial and non-financial terms, impacting our way of life, our social interactions, family life, our health, our livelihoods, the education of our children, and of course, the ability of our justice system to function in accordance with well-established norms and traditions. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, like many other courts in the region and beyond, had to quickly devise new and creative ways to mitigate the effects of COVID while adapting as we go along in responding to the ever-present threat posed by the virus, coupled with the uncertainty we face. The challenge was to be able to continue delivering justice in a safe and healthy environment. Being already wedded to the use of ICT as a regional court, our thought processes immediately turned to sourcing digital and other ICT tools which would enable us to transition as quickly and seamlessly as possible so that at least a number of our critical services remained available. To this end, we introduced e-filing, an emergency measures practice direction to enable electronic filings, service, and case management as an added measure to assist those states' territories not linked to the court's e-portal. Migration of manually filed documents. This was done through Practice Guide number 1 of 2020, the rationale of which is to allow for the continuity of those matters which were manually filed by migrating documents filed in those matters onto the electronic litigation portal. Implementation of various video conferencing digital platforms, such as Zoom for remote court hearings, as well as Microsoft Teams for in-office meetings. These platforms have now become a core aspect of the court's approach to the continuity of hearings during this global crisis. Video conferencing policy for remote hearings. This is a guide to legal practitioners and other stakeholders of the court as to the preparation and conduct to be observed for remote hearings. Remote court locations. The conventional thinking is that court hearings take place in a physical courtroom. We needed to provide for a virtual courtroom. This was overcome by publishing an order pursuant to the Supreme Court Act, making the location from which a judge, master, or registrar conducts a remote hearing be declared a court for the purpose of the conduct of court proceedings. Bail applications for indigent or unrepresented persons. On the 27th of April 2020, Practice Direction number 4 of 2020, entitled Bail Applications for Indigent or Unrepresented Persons, came into effect. The Practice Direction facilitates easier access to the court by indigent or unrepresented persons for the purpose of making bail applications. This is critical to ensuring that even persons who are indigent or unrepresented have an avenue through which to access justice. The use of mediation as a tool for the resolution of disputes. Legal practitioners and members of the public were reminded that they should utilize mediation as far as possible as a tool for the resolution of disputes outside of the court and as a first step towards resolving disputes arising in commercial transactions in the community or in the workplace during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mediators have also been successfully utilizing digital platforms for the conduct of mediations. Mediation provides an avenue for arriving at mutually agreeable resolutions of disputes, which will allow for flexible solutions and settlement in a timely manner. COVID-19 has caused unprecedented disruptions to the daily routines of institutions and individuals, both in the OECS and around the world. This global challenge demands a collective response, which must begin with our willingness to adapt, to change, and pursue new solutions. The challenge for the judiciary is to sustain our justice system while protecting court users as far as possible from the risk of transmission. We ask for your patience, but also your readiness to access the justice system in new and perhaps unfamiliar ways. On behalf of the Justices of Appeal, judges, masters, the magistracy, management and staff of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, our hearts go out to everyone affected by the COVID-19 pandemic in our jurisdiction and around the world. I pray for the continued health and protection for each and every one of us, our families and communities, as we weather this life-changing phenomenon. Please do not hesitate to contact the court's headquarters by email at offices@eccourts.org or by telephone should you have any questions or require any assistance in accessing the court's services.